hand over the microphone. As Shubu said in the introduction, mobile is an important part in the consumer pathway. It's in terms of path to purchase. I'm going to cover three things in 7 minutes, giving you examples of how we're beginning to be able to create comparable metrics to provide insights into that pathway, and we'll go very quickly through it. The company that I work for really tries to answer some of these questions in terms of, what are we trying to do? How much should we spend? Where should we spend that money? Working with my colleagues in other parts of the business, and indeed with client first-party data and other third-party data, we're able to demonstrate the return on investment against those campaigns. So 3 examples. I'm going to talk to you about television, because television is now mobile. Everybody knows that, and most people in the room here, I'm sure, do consume TV on mobile devices. I'm going to talk about some behavioral insights in terms of planning, and I'm also going to talk about advertising intelligence. I'm going to talk about the TV part first. So, television measurement now extends into mobile in a number of markets around the world. And this is an example actually taken from Denmark. So this is relatively new data. This service has only been running since January this year. And if I don't understand anything or I misrepresent it, Jacob's going to help me out here and tell me what's what. But this is effectively tag data. So we're tagging the TV players and reading the information through all mobile devices. And this effectively is genre data, which is showing you there that actually for 15 to 34-year-olds, which is a heavy sort of out-of-home and mobile viewing group, the highest genre for consumption there is drama and fiction, perhaps not a huge surprise. We can then look down within that, and in terms of reach, looking at mobile access to content, again, drama, as you can see there on a weekly reach basis, is the highest category, followed by culture, which is an interesting one. I'm not sure that necessarily would be true of every market in the world. If we then look at, we picked up sport as a category and looked at 15 to 34-year-olds, looking at across this is just taken 1 week at random, and looked at the audience there. And I think the interesting thing is that if you look at the exclusive reach, then you've got 3% of that audience who you would not reach through any other medium in terms of television in that age group. What's also quite interesting there is a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not a very big number. Why is it so small? Why do we have to invest all this money in research in order to get whatever it is, 3.3% incremental reach? This is possibly the most important message I can give to you. And I would say this, of course, as a research company, but we have to disproportionately invest in measurement in order to measure these smaller audiences. The ratio is going to change. The return on your investment that you put into traditional television audience measurement is not going to be the same for mobile and digital consumption. And it's going to equalize over time, but to begin with, it has to be disproportionate. Switching tack, we've started to integrate mobile metered data with survey data. This data is taken from TGI, so this is mobile clickstream data, collected passively, and then merged with survey data. So if you're trying to target heavy users, frequent travelers for holiday travel, we can give you insights in terms of whether to reach them through laptop, and then within laptop, where the best sites to go, whether it's through mobile, or whether it's through apps. And again, within that, which are the most effective apps at delivering that audience. I can also look at it the other way around. So if I'm a publisher, and Just Eat is a UK-based, actually it's a publisher who specializing in takeaway foods, but they sell advertising, and they're able to advise, again, if you pick that audience and follow it through, where should they be selling their inventory or pushing that client in terms of mobile. So again, quite interesting insights that we're bringing forward. Attitudinally, you get a flavor of all of the attitudinal information that we're able to link back to the behavioral consumption. So again, that target of frequent travelers, they pay more attention to online video ads than any other forms of media. They're more likely to agree with that. So you're getting some qualitative insights as well into that audience. And in terms of mobile advertising intelligence, we're the world's largest supplier of advertising intelligence. We capture what ads are on where, what the brand was, what the creative was, and we estimate what the spend was set against that brand. And one of the gaps, I think, largely in this area globally, has been measurement of mobile. And we're in the process now of beginning to roll out mobile intelligence in this service. So here's just an example of and this is primarily at occurrence data and looking at the creative. And really, the story here is how, in this case, looking at Domino's and quick service restaurants, they use digital in two different ways. So they're using digital in terms of brand building and awareness from a desktop perspective, and then they're using mobile specifically for activation around specific promotions and activities from a pricing point of view. Now, from a competitive point of view, that's quite interesting because I can then learn what my competitor is doing and work out whether I want to follow suit there, whether I want to try and beat them in that promotion, or whether I want to move in a different direction. And then the other one here, again, a little bit more detail on quick service restaurants. It's another example looking at how many people are using TV and mobile and separate. The next stage for us in all of this is to take this forward into spend so we can give you an idea of how much perhaps you ought to be investing behind mobile versus some of the other major media channels. I'm not very good at singing and the music's about to start, so I'll thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.